Within 90 days, schools are going to have to choose between teaching the truth or keeping their funding. One phrase they use a lot is discriminatory equity ideology. This is what they call teaching true history or acknowledging racism and sexism and white supremacy. Equity ideology? Discriminatory equity? They are attacking the rights of everyone who isn't white and cis. And see right here by pedophilia and the lie that schools are offering diagnoses and treatments, they say they will enforce the law and file appropriate actions against teachers and school officials who violate the law by facilitating the social transition of a student. Schools will also lose funding for facilitating the social transition of a student. That includes using their preferred name or pronouns or referring to a non-binary student as non-binary, or allowing them to play sports with their peers, or use their preferred restroom or locker room. And mind you, they are also coming after schools with gender-inclusive restroom options. And there is no distinction that says, well, if the student's parents accept their child for who they are, none of this applies. No! What about their parental rights, or the parental rights of Black people, or people of color, or Indigenous peoples? Hello?
Hello, hello, hello. Mrs. Frazzled is frazzled. Am I right? Yes, Mrs. Frazzled is frazzled. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Parent Alert by PragerU Kids. We are live on, count it with me, everyone, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble. True or false? Twitter. And Twitter. Oh, hi, X. Isn't it X? We say X now. Yes, okay. Okay, so hi, we're live. It's been a minute since I've been with you all. I'm Jill Simonian of PragerU Kids. I'm a mom. I've been here at PragerU Kids for, 4 years. I'm celebrating my almost graduation. Prager University, yes, I think so. It's been a wild, fun, great ride, hopeful ride. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. It is a new year. We have good news in education. We are still fighting. Drop me a comment where you're watching or listening from. Like I said, we're Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, Rumble. I can't say that I'm actually on Rumble myself, but hi, I'm here today. So drop me a comment where you are watching from. If you are in the belly of the beast here like us in California, we love to hear from you. Before we get into this headline, and specifically if you tuned in at the very top, I shared the video rant meltdown from, I believe it's Mrs. Frazzled on, I'm pretty sure she's on TikTok, but the left is melting down and panicking over our new president's executive orders regarding the Department of Education. And I'm going to get into this executive order and we're going to discuss it and share all the things. But before we go any further, remember, subscribe for free to PragerUKids.com for wholesome videos and lessons and worksheets for kindergarten through 12th grade. Everything you need to instill knowledge, U.S. history, world history, good character, financial literacy, civics, free resources, all standards aligned nationally and statewide. And we have several state partnerships, which our super fans already know about. And we're going to get into one of them about Idaho specifically later in the show. But we also have faith-based content too. So subscribe for free to PragerUKids.com. But let's get into the first headline right now. Let's get into the president's recent executive order putting radical indoctrination and ideology in schools nationwide on watch. Let's bring up Jace, extraordinaire producer. Thank you, yay. Everybody give Jace a round of applause. Yay! Jace has been through so much with me. God bless you, Jace. Okay, one day y'all meet him. But let's go ahead and get into this article. It's not actually, I shouldn't say article. What it is we believe at PragerU and PragerU Kids especially going straight to the source. So that's what I do here. As one of the co-creators of PragerU Kids, we go straight to the source. This is the executive order for presidential actions. We'll go ahead and bring it up. Ending radical indoctrination in K through 12 schooling. This is the, drum roll please, executive order. And you can scroll along and follow along. This is something that is readily available for you to literally Google and look up for yourself and follow along with me if you wish. I'm just going to kick this off with Section 1, Purpose and Policy, so that we parents who are watching and grandparents and wonderful teachers, by the way, who are watching can just really break this down. So Section 1, Purpose and Policy. Parents trust America's schools to provide their children with rigorous education. Yes, to instill patriotic admiration for our incredible nation and the values for which we stand, something that we always believe in here. In recent years, however, parents, me being one of them, hand raised, I've got, early teenagers, parents have witnessed schools indoctrinate their children in radical anti-American ideologies while deliberately blocking parental oversight. My personal experience included in this, as I'm sure many of you watching or listening as well. Drop a comment if you've experienced this, because it is happening. And here's the deal, and this goes on in the executive order to say, imprinting anti-American, subversive, harmful, and false ideologies on our nation's children not only violates long-standing anti-discrimination civil rights laws in many cases, but usurps basic parental authority, steering students towards surgical and chemical mutilation without parental consent or involvement. This is, again, I am quoting in the executive order. This has been happening truthfully, honestly, in real life with many of your own children. I get parents DMing me all the time, no joke. And these are not, you know who you are. I'm talking to you if you're watching this right now. These are not, quote unquote, conservative parents who have been DMing me the past 4 years. The parents who have been DMing me also expressing severe disappointment and concern about how their children's school has completely abolished their parental rights when it comes to socially transitioning their child at school and so on. These are parents who would identify as being liberal, who are very, very liberal in some cases, okay? These are parents. This is not a conservative, liberal issue left. This is a human rights issue when we are talking about steering students towards surgical and chemical mutilation without parental consent. And yes, it is happening through our schools. I have so many parent alert conversations that you can find online for free. It's PragerU.com/parent alert that talks about, I've interviewed this one mom in Orange County who talked about how she, through FOIA requests, pretty much unlocked this money grab where her local school in Orange County was partnered with a local hospital in Orange County and a transgender transition center to take advantage of students in the school system who were maybe in a bad place or confused, and to steer them towards that transition. So this is happening, and our executive order recently is putting a stop to all this. So I want to go now in the executive order. I believe it's I'm not going to go through it all. You can go through it all yourself. But on point B, in section 2, point B, they identify the terms discriminatory, equity, ideology. This is what Mrs. Frazzled was all frazzled about at the beginning, if you caught the top of this video. Discriminatory equity ideology means an ideology that treats individuals as members of preferred or disfavored groups rather than as individuals, and minimizes agency, merit, and capability in favor of immoral generalizations. So this has been happening in schools, and I've talked about it through many headlines that I've frankly broken down with many of you last year in 2024, how California high schools were requiring their students to do things like privilege walks during class time, where students had to identify if they were white, Christian, and something else I can't remember. I believe this was in the Alameda area of California. Weigh in if you live there. But they were requiring their high school students to do things called privilege walks that literally highlighted this victim mentality of, if you were not white and Christian, then you were somehow less than, and you were a victim, and you were to not feel equal to anyone else. And if you happened to be white, Christian, male, that was it. If you were male, white, Christian, you were somehow inherently bad or wrong or evil. So these types of things outlined in our executive order, in the president's executive order, these things have been happening, and you know that, and we all know that. I want to skip down to point V in Section 2 for definitions, an individual, and I'm quoting the executive order again, an individual by virtue of the individual's race, color, sex, or national origin bears responsibility for, should feel guilt, anguish, or other forms of psychological distress because of, should be discriminated against, blamed, or stereotyped for, or should receive adverse treatment because of actions committed in the past by other members of the same race, color, sex, or national origin in which the individual played no part. Again, victim mentality. These have all been infused and immersed within so many of our, well, most of our public school instruction, and also, of course, private school instruction. So this is what the executive order wishes to eradicate. This is not a bad thing, you guys. We are created equal under God. This executive order was designed to abolish this victim mentality, race-based judgment. The executive order also says, it identifies what patriotic education is, because I know a lot of people on the left particularly are flipping out about this term, patriotic education. Why are they insisting, why does the president's executive order insist on patriotic education? This is what patriotic education is, based on America's founding and foundational principles. An accurate, honest, unifying, inspiring, and ennobling characterization of America's founding. The key word being unifying. That is what this executive order wants to promote. Unifying people, unifying students, unifying our shared values as Americans, no matter what race or heritage or religion you happen to be, truly, okay? So, within 90 days of the date of this order, as we see in the executive order, within 90 days of this date, the Secretary of Education, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Health and Human Services, in consultation with the Attorney General, shall provide an ending indoctrination strategy to the President through the assistant to the President for domestic policy, containing recommendations and a plan for limiting federal funding or support for illegal and discriminatory treatment. This order also seeks to protect parental rights. It also seeks, in K through 12 teacher education, certification, licensing, employment, or training, each agency's process to prevent or rescind federal funds to the maximum extent consistent with applicable law from being used by an ESA, SEA, LEA elementary school or secondary school to directly or indirectly support or subsidize the instruction, advancement, or promotion of gender ideology or discriminatory equity ideology in K through 12 curriculum instruction and K through 12 teacher certification. The executive order goes on. The executive order also, if you scroll down, Jace, we can see on Section 4, reestablishes the President's Advisory 1776 Commission to promote patriotic education. E pluribus unum. Who knows what it means? I did not know what it meant before coming to PragerU Kids 4 years ago. Truth be told, parents, teachers, leave me a comment if you know what e pluribus unum means, because that is what this executive order wants to do. E pluribus unum. Who knows what it is over there? Out of many, one. Very good. Out of many, one. There was one person here who had a question about it, right? Yes. No judgment. We're here to learn, are we not? E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. It's out of many, one. It's a Latin phrase. I learned this at PragerU Kids, no joke. It's a Latin phrase that harkens back to our 13 colonies and how our 13 colonies, out of many colonies, became one nation. All of those 13 colonies were extremely different. They had different priorities, they had different rules, but they were united under a shared principle of religious liberty, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. They were united under what we know now and value as American values. And this is what, I printed it out for myself, this is what this executive order from President Trump seeks to do in our schools. So It's a return to truth. It's a return to honesty. We do not have to be embarrassed about this. When the left is melting down, read this. Parents, I encourage you, print it out on paper like me. If you need it on paper like me, read this so that you know how to defend it. Read it so that you can reassure everyone flipping out, whether they are at your school or a peer or a friend or otherwise. This is a renewal of back to basics, knowledge, education, patriotism together as Americans through our differences. It's a return to merit-based standards. It's a return to academic excellence. It is a turning away from lying to children and damaging them psychologically and physically. It's turning away from schools and districts having the false authority to say, no, parents, we don't need you involved. It's turning towards parental partnership with schools. That is what this executive order means to do. Someone describe this to Mrs. Frazzled, please, with love and hope in my heart. Okay. All right. Leave me your comments about it, even if you disagree. Even if you disagree, leave me your comments, what you think, because this is good news. And I have some more good news that I'm going to share at the end of this. I have some great news, despite the hysterical meltdowns that we're all dealing with. I have a good news with one particular educational resource that a California teacher shared with me last week from her classroom. Okay, you know who you are. Thank you, by the way, thank you. I want to share this with you because it's from a resource that is used across the nation. It's from Scholastic, okay? I'll just say it. There's a tease on the tease. It's from Scholastic, and Scholastic in the past has been mildly obsessed with favoring the left, but the resource that was published in Scholastic that was shared by this teacher who sent this to me to share with all of you is very hopeful. It is a nonpartisan report about the presidential inauguration. And I'm going to show you what it is at the end of this, so you got to stick around and watch, okay? And in case you need to learn, should I share the PragerU Kids thing? Yes. And in case you need to learn, I have so many things to share with you guys. In case you need to learn about what else is included in the duties of our president's service to our nation, we have an episode about it at PragerU Kids. Yes, we do. How did you guess? It's from our series Street Smarts. It's the episode about the office of the president. And yes, in the midst of all these executive orders, these are part of the president's, duties. And this particular president, as we know, has gotten down to business in really churning out executive orders to course correct how egregiously things got off track. But I want to give you a crash course. If you need to give your kids a crash course in terms of what else the president does, we have our civics series called Street Smarts, and I'm just going to show you a little clip of it right now because it's so darn cute. So let's roll the clip.
On to question number 3. A president can issue blank, which are intended to clarify or further explain laws and regulations passed by Congress. A, executive orders, B, constitutional amendments, or C, newspaper articles.
A, executive orders.
There you go. A is correct.
Yay, very good, very good. Okay, so there, like the executive orders, do you like the way I did that as a little button roundup? With a nice little bow on top talking about executive orders. That's Street Smarts. It's all free on PragerUKids.com. It's a show for middle school and high school. And, if you have a mature elementary school kid, too, who really understands and is interested in the way our system of government works, Street Smarts, PragerUKids.com. That particular episode was about the president. And in honor of President's Day, I also want to share with you something special that we are giving away for free on PragerUKids.com. It's our ebook. Here we go. I'm going to show you, oh my gosh, right on cue, Jace, thank you. I'm going to show you what this ebook is. This is just in time for President's Day. This is free downloadable material, okay, for parents and teachers. Teachers, yes, you can use this in your class because you have something called academic freedom, okay? So teachers, educators, this covers President Washington to Abraham Lincoln, because as we all know at PragerU Kids, President's Day celebrates what specifically? The birthdays of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. So in this free guide, we have puzzles, quizzes. Here's what you do. You visit the link, and I believe I shared it in the description of this live. So go to the description on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're at, and the link is there. You click on the link. It takes you to this page. Yes. Oh, wait, there it was. Wait, JC, let it go. It takes you to this page, and then it goes to, you enter your email, and then it takes you to this. Very good. So you enter your email on the previous page. It takes you to this. If we can scroll down, there we have Washington to Lincoln, all the presidents in between. Scroll down. This is, how should I say, dozens and dozens and dozens of pages about the first 16 presidents. It's colorful, it's fun, it's packed with standards-aligned education, information. There are quizzes. This is great for, again, not only homeschoolers, not only supplemental, but teachers. If you need something to share ahead of President's Day that is relevant, this is turnkey. We invite you to use it. It is free. Take it to your administrators. And the best part is that all of these resources are literally on our website for anyone to access. Full transparency. You can read and watch every single thing. This is not sneaky, oh, don't tell the parent. No, tell the parents you're using this. Tell them, invite them to check this out for themselves. It's all free. So let me know what you think in your comments. If you're just joining us on the live, because that happens since we're live. If you're just joining us, I'm Jill Simonian from PragerU Kids, sharing with you some headlines. Let's get into the next headline now. This next headline is a little spicy, but it deserves discussion. Let's pull it up, Jace. Take a deep breath. I'm taking a deep breath. Here we go. Shoshone-Bannock tribes oppose, quote, discriminatory content, PragerU content. This is from thepostregister.com, which I believe is an Idaho publication. So I'm going to take this to you right now. Let's read a little bit of this if you're following along. Officials from the Shoshone-Bannock tribes of the Fort Hall Reservation voiced concerns over the new controversial educational resources approved by the state of Idaho during a meeting with the Idaho Council on Indian Affairs in Boise. And this article is from last week, January 24th, 2025. So basically, and in the article, if you scroll down, it says that, PragerU was founded by talk show host Dennis Prager, and that we seek to promote American values, which is apparently controversial. I still cannot wrap my head around this. Help me if you are in the, help me. American values. Okay, let's just get to it. We're controversial because American values are, name them, hard work, equality under God, responsibility, perseverance. These are controversial. I mean, I say this with gobsmacked, right? Mike Steele, I'll go on continuing the article. Mike Steele, policy analyst for the Shoshone-Bannock tribes, spoke to the council about PragerU resources. He played a short video by PragerU entitled, Are we living on stolen land? ? Okay. And the video, that 5-minute video, is one of ours. It's called Are We Living on Stolen Land? It's presented by Jeff Flynn Paul, who is a lecturer at Leiden University in the Netherlands. It is a discussion regarding, obviously, Native Americans and the land that they lived on here in the United States and that they continue to live on, and who we continue to respect. From the bottom of my personal heart and from the bottom of everyone else's heart, we do respect all Americans who live here and who have lived here. So he had an issue with that 5-minute video. And I'm going to let you watch the 5-minute video for yourself at a later time or date. It's called, again, Are We Living on Stolen Land? It is a 5-minute video that was not part of our PragerU Kids curriculum for, elementary school. However, it is listed as a resource on our Idaho State supplemental material options should any of the schools in Idaho want to use it. That particular video specifically for a high school grade, 9th through 12th grade. Okay, it is definitely upper level. The Shoshone-Bannock tribe in Idaho, their council did say that we requested that this video be removed, but we have not received word yet. So my question, just as a regular old mom, about this. Removed like banned? Because I thought that banning was bad, right? Isn't banning bad? I thought we didn't want bans. So that's just my own personal question. You guys who have been watching me know me that I will always, always, always honor free speech. I may not always agree with what you say or your perspective about it, but I will always, always defend your ability to say it. But this, respectfully, from the Shoshone-Bannock tribe is respectfully, I sound like Xavier now, respectfully. I say this with respect. This reaction to our recent supplemental partnership between PragerU Kids and Idaho schools really is misguided, and it is misinformed. And let's just go to the state partnership announcements right now. Chase, if we can pull it up. We have, as many of you know, we at PragerU Kids have partnered with several states to offer supplemental, I shout it from the rooftop, supplemental, non-mandatory materials. And if you go, there is our state announcement page on our website where you can see all the states. But if you click on the Idaho announcement specifically, it'll take you to all, and if we can click it right now, let's go ahead and look at all, I think it's the orange button. There we go. It goes to all of the, oh, that's not it. If you click the orange button that goes, go back, there we go. We're doing this together, gang. There we go, yay. Okay, we got it. So the magic of live, right? So these are all of the resources that have been approved for Idaho State schools, kindergarten through 12th grade, that we make at PragerU Kids. Again, it's standards aligned. We've worked with the Idaho educators to come up with this list. And if you scroll down, we can see all of the materials that have been approved by grade level, by subject matter, by all the things. On page 59, Are We Living on Stolen Land? The 5-minute video is in fact there. Again, it was approved for high school and wrongfully accused, in my personal opinion, of being discriminatory. You can watch it for yourself. I'm not going to watch it here with you due to time. But I want to show you a sneak peek. And if you scroll down through all the other resources, in fact, I'm going to try and find it here. Do I have it here? Yeah. Oh, I have it here. So I can't see that far on the screen. Hi. But I'm going to scroll down. So all of the resources, we have animated series, we have game shows, we have all of it. There's a ton of financial literacy courses that are approved for Idaho State schools. There's lesson plans, there's worksheets, there are books, geography, economics, civics and government, all of these things. One thing in particular that I want to share as a personal from me to you is a show from our series Unboxed USA. Now this series is one of the shows that I helped create, Unboxed USA on PragerUKids.com. Kids unbox all of these silly, wacky, offbeat clues and try to guess which state these clues are giving a historical account of. And for the purpose of Unboxed USA is to teach federalism. It's to teach the diversity of states, how each state is different, how each state has a unique history, how we are all together as one in this nation. And one of the things that I really do focus on to the point where you can really see it through every single episode. I focus on how Native Americans were here, living, working the land before European settlers came. And I focus on that for every single episode. And the Shoshone-Bannock tribes, I really just want you to know that we really do honor Native Americans sincerely in every single PragerU Kids show that calls for it. I'm going to give you a sneak peek right now of an episode of Unboxed USA. And yes, spoiler alert, it is the Idaho episode. It's for 3rd through 6th grade. This is a clip from our Idaho episode. This was filmed last year. It's currently in editing now, but the whole episode's going to drop, I believe, in another week or so. Let's roll the clip.
Ooh. Got some arrowheads. They can be used on weapons sometimes.
That's right. How many are in there?
There is 5.
So what do you think arrowheads might be a clue about? What might they represent?
Maybe the 5th state?
5 Indians?
Good guess. Our mystery state is home to 5 federally recognized reservations. Before Europeans settled here, our state's land belonged to Native American tribes, including the Coeur d'Alene, Kootenai, Shoshone-Bannock, Nez Perce, and Shoshone-Paiute. These 5 tribes are federally recognized today, but there are many more Native communities in the area. Ready for the next clue?
Yeah.
Did we hear Shoshone-Bannock tribes? Did we hear Nez Perce? Did we hear? I'm not doing this to be adversarial. I'm literally doing this because it's all on our website for free for everyone to see, for everyone to at least, we like to say that word, acknowledge. We truly, we do not shy away from recognizing true history, honest history. We believe in doing it in an age-appropriate way. There are so many of our PragerU Kids series that consistently honor Native Americans. Otto's Tales, Craftery. We don't shy away from mentioning how awful the Trail of Tears was. We present it in age-appropriate ways that are developmentally appropriate for children who are in the 2nd grade and 3rd grade to absorb. As an Armenian American mom, my own people have been persecuted, displaced, driven out of the homeland. And as someone who creates this content, it genuinely saddens and also, frankly, infuriates me how PragerU Kids is consistently wrongfully accused of neglecting history. That is the opposite of what we do here. We have a staff of teachers who are credentialed, former public school teachers, people with master's degree in history and education. We create this content. Everything we make is standards aligned to national and state education standards. We are a nation of diversity that is united as Americans. And as educators, we really do believe in teaching through a lens that unifies us, first and foremost, through America's past stains. We believe in teaching age-appropriate content. Any questions? Oh my gosh, silence. Okay, let's read through the comments. I just wanted to share that. Let me see if we have comments today. I am on Facebook. I'm reading the Facebook comments today. Here we go. Karen, if the left is melting down, then you know you're doing the right thing. Okay, surprising. This is Richard. Here in Idaho, we are 90% conservative. Okay, we have not heard anything about the tribes complaining. We love the God-oriented education in Idaho. Whoever is complaining must be a few exemptions that do not reflect the majority. Wow. Okay, thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. You guys, I read these comments blind, by the way. I pull them up and I just read them as I see them. I'm trying, preach it. Thank you. We love PragerU in Idaho. Thank you. Let me see. Someone says, I'm very sorry if it made you upset. Cut off the funding yesterday, Joseph. I assume that you're talking about the executive order regarding, getting rid of all of the radical gender ideology indoctrination in schools. That's what I got here. Okay, thank you for the comments, everybody. So, do you want to see the good news thing that the teacher sent me? Let's show it right now. 1, 2, 3, bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. This is the good news thing that I wanted to share with you that the teacher in Central California sent me last week regarding Scholastic News' magazine. This was particularly for elementary school. I believe it's 3rd through 5th grade. I share this not because it has President Trump and our First Lady on there. I share this because this is an educational magazine, Scholastic News, that has been the last several years obsessed with climate change. They have been obsessed with favoring things that are not nonpartisan. You understand what I'm saying? We can read some of this article. Former President Donald Trump is set to return to his old job on January 20th. It is an article about how President Trump is returning to his former address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It talks about the inauguration. There's a quote in here, "It's time to unite," he said, the president, in his victory speech. It talks about how it wasn't the first time he celebrated Election Day. It talks about how Trump has been busy since his victory. It talks about after taking the oath, President Trump will give his inaugural address. This is the most nonpartisan thing that I have ever read in Scholastic News. No joke. And to me, it is so hopeful that we can now perhaps begin to unify again as teachers and educators and parents and organizations that create content for schools in a nonpartisan way. Yes, we all have our perspectives. Yes, we all have our leanings. Guess what? Yay, hooray, we live in the United States of America. Freedom of speech, God bless it. God help us keep it. But when it comes to this type of content, especially from an organization as wide-reaching as Scholastic News, to see this nonpartisan education literally teaching young students about what an inauguration is, how it is historical that President Trump is now returning after non-consecutive terms. This is a hopeful win that I am so appreciative as a mom and as someone who helps create educational content for this very age group and for this very student group. So I thank you for that. That is the big piece of hopeful news. And I will say the teacher who sent it to me, when she sent it to me, she sent the thing and she said, "You have no idea how many teachers were so relieved to see this, because we know that there are wonderful teachers out there who have been having to toggle between doing what's appropriate, age appropriate for kids, and also worried about their being vilified, wrongfully vilified by their peers and their superiors and their, school districts." So this is hopeful. This is good. This is good. With that, I think we are out of time. We are out of time. I want to thank everyone for tuning in again. Let me see if I can find one last comment. Keep on keeping on, Melanie. That is the perfect last comment. Thank you, Melanie. Keep on keeping on. I'm going to send you all off with that. Keep on keeping on. Thank you for your support. Always, we can't do what we do without you. Stay informed, stay equipped, stay active in knowing what's going on in your education. If you want insight and information, I got dozens of parent alert conversations with regular moms and dads and educators on PragerU.com/parent alert, talking about the trials that they had to overcome in education. But that said, I am very, very hopeful. Visit us and subscribe for free at PragerUKids.com to get everything you need to equip your children with American values, learning American history, civics, good character. You can also purchase if you want. Everything is free on our website. And by the way, these are available for purchase, the hard copies of our magazine. But once again, you can download for free our President's ebook, and the link is in the description on the title of all of these lives, Facebook, YouTube, wherever I am, it's all in the description. Or if you're on Instagram, I think it's in link in bio too. So you can download our free President's ebook that takes George Washington to Abraham Lincoln and gives a great breadth of education for all the first 16 presidents. Happy early President's Day weekend. Happy birthday, George Washington. Happy birthday, Abraham Lincoln. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.